guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. Well, they have a suspect and he has been charged in the double murders of Spencer and Monique Tepe. The person that they have taken into custody today, which is January 10th of 2026, this Saturday, they put out a warrant for him this morning and picked him up. It is Monique's ex-husband, Michael McKee.
We are coming on the air this afternoon with a major update in the investigation into the shooting deaths of a Central Ohio dentist and his wife, Spencer and Monique Tepe. Good afternoon. I'm Jared Smalley, NBC4, breaking into regular programming. As first reported by our partners at the Columbus Dispatch and confirmed through court documents obtained by NBC4, a suspect has been arrested and charged with the couple's murder. Michael David McKee was arrested today in their murders. Spencer and Monique were found suffering from multiple gunshot wounds in their Wineland Park home December 30th. Their two young children were also inside, but unharmed. And in the days following, police released a video earlier this week, in fact, showing a person of interest walking behind the Tepe's home around the time of the murders.
So this is NBC4 Columbus. They broke into programming today to give this major update in the case of the double murder of the dentist and his wife.
Let's get to NBC4's Delaney Ruth, who has been working on this story since it first broke. What we know right now about McKee's arrest and the connection to the victims here. Delaney?
Well, Jared, Michael McKee was arrested in Rockford, Illinois this morning, 11 days after the murder. McKee was Monique Tepe's ex-husband. According to an affidavit, Columbus police were able to identify a suspect through a neighborhood surveillance video. The suspect was reportedly tracked to a vehicle.
Look at him. This is fresh mugshot. He's currently in custody in Illinois, and he will soon be brought back to Ohio to face the murder charges.
It arrived just before the homicides and left just after. According to court records, detectives found the vehicle in Rockford and then linked that vehicle to McKee. He was booked in the Winnebago County Sheriff's Office this morning and is currently scheduled to appear in court in Illinois on Monday.
I was wondering if they were going to do a press conference today, but being Saturday, it doesn't look like there's one scheduled, so I'm going to assume that they'll probably do some sort of a presser on Monday, especially after he's had his initial court appearance. But great job to law enforcement for getting him, obviously, off the street and finding the murderer of this mother and father. I mean, they were a mother and father to two little ones, and it is horrific that her ex-husband, Michael David McKee, is the one that ultimately was their murderer. And I always suspected, like I said to you guys, that it was someone close to them, but I did not think it was her ex-husband. But they seem to be married for a short period of time. I did get some information when I was doing some research this afternoon, and we can go through that. But again, they were married for about 2 years, and it just seems to me like it's like 2015 they got married, and then 2017 they got divorced, and here it is 2026. I mean, what sort of anger did he have, or does he have, against his ex-wife Monique and her current husband Spencer? Obviously, he's got some issues over Monique. I initially thought Spencer was a target, and I guess he sort of was, because Spencer he married McKee's ex-wife, and I don't know if he's going to elaborate on his actual motive, but you gotta wonder, was this guy just not over Monique? Okay, so this is the Columbus Dispatch. They are actually the ones who broke the story through the media, and they have a couple. Well, they probably have more by now. They're definitely coming out with a lot of information. Looks like their team is in major work mode today on this case. So the key points are Michael David McKee, the ex-husband of Monique Tepe, has been charged with 2 counts of murder in the deaths of Monique and her husband, Spencer Tepe. The couple was found shot to death, as we know, in their Wineland home on December 30th, leaving behind their 2 young children. So police identified McKee as a suspect after tracking a vehicle seen near the Tepe home around the time of the killings to him in Illinois. So this was caught on surveillance. So remember how all they were looking for all those the surveillance cameras and all that footage? That is what led to them figuring out it was him. He's a vascular surgeon. And I know I looked him up a bit, and he said he's still accepting patients. I don't think anymore he is. So I think they're going to have to take his availability down. Again, he was married to Monique from 2015 to 2017. And he's currently being held in Illinois, awaiting extradition to Ohio. So they're going to have his initial court appearance on Monday in Illinois, and then they're going to ask him if he's going to fight the extradition or not. So we'll find that out. And then, of course, they usually have about 30 days, if he doesn't, to come get him. And they're usually pretty quick on the uptake of these suspects. So, again, let's see here. They arrested him today, January 10th. They filed the arrest warrant, and he was booked into the Winnebago County Corrections Facility shortly before noon. So they probably woke him up, or if not, they definitely ruined his day, but since he ruined the Tepe family's lives in many days on December 30th, I don't feel sorry for his ass. I really, really don't. So, let's see. All right, how did the Columbus police identify Michael McKee as a suspect? And just of note, if you guys happen to be like me and you do a lot of internet searching and you're looking up these folks, be very careful. There's a lot of Michael McKees out there, and he's Michael David McKee. He disabled all of his social media already, so you're not going to find any of that. The only thing I found so far besides the mugshot was a wedding photo, which I'll show you guys. But that's the only 2 I've found thus far. I'm sure a lot more it will come out in the coming days. According to court documents, Columbus detectives identified a vehicle that had been in the area of the Tepe home shortly before the couple is believed to have been killed and leaving shortly after. Court records say detectives tracked that vehicle down, located it in Rockford, Illinois, and identified that McKee owned the vehicle. So he didn't try that hard, He used his own car. He was seen on surveillance footage. I mean, you had to figure he had to know his time was just ticking down. On January 5th, which I did not cover here yet, but you guys probably saw it, police had released that security camera footage from an alley near the Tepe home, showing a person walking during the 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. window on December 30th, during which detectives believe the Tepes were killed. So that seems to be Michael McKee. It was put out that this was a person coming home from a bar, but I think that was just a detractor to keep everybody kind of, off footing, to keep them unbalanced so that they didn't pick up on what was going on, and maybe to keep McKee thinking that they don't have any evidence or idea that he was the suspect. So there wasn't any signs of forced entry and no obvious signs of robbery. Well, he wasn't there to rob their home. Obviously, he was there to kill Spencer and Monique, which is, I still want to know. I mean, obviously he's got some kind of an issue with, his ex and her current, her current husband there, Spencer, which they would have been 5 years married. But why wait this long to, start something? I don't know. I mean, you got to wonder about the guy. So let's see. Michael David McKee. Medical licensure databases show McKee went to medical school at Ohio State University. He's got active licenses as a vascular surgeon in Illinois and California. He did have a license in Nevada, which lapsed last year, the mid-year. Clark County, Nevada court records show McKee is one of several doctors who were named in an ongoing personal injury lawsuit. See, that to me doesn't mean too much because doctors do get sued all the time. So I don't think that has anything to do with this case at all. McKee's medical license shows no disciplinary history in any of the states where he has been practicing. McKee has no discernible criminal record outside of regular traffic tickets. At one time, McKee had a hunting license in Ohio, but it's unclear if that license is currently active or valid. So obviously, he's connected to Monique because they were married. They were married in August 2015, according to Franklin County Domestic Court records. Monique is the one who filed for divorce in May of 2017. McKee was listed as living in Virginia at that time, where he appears to have been attending a surgical residency program. Court records show the couple was separated at the time of the divorce, which is not uncommon. The people separate, and then they wait for the paperwork to all go through. There's no indication in court records that there was any animosity between the couple. They did not share any children, thank God. But it's really sad because now her children with Spencer, they don't have a mom and dad because he's a monster. There's no other way to say it. The docket for the divorce filing lists a mutual restraining order. This is standard in divorce cases and prevents either party from accessing assets or bank accounts without going through the court processes while the divorce is pending. So that's not like anything unusual. Where is Michael David McKee from? Publicly available records show McKee has family members in the Zanesville area. He attended Ohio State University for undergrad and medical school. He played football at Zanesville Bishop Rosecrans High School. That's a long name. Where Ohio High School Athletic Association records show he earned honorable mention All-State honors in his senior season. McKee is listed as having received several academic honors during his high school career, according to the Zanesville Times Recorder Archives. So what's next in the case? Like they said in the news piece, he's going to, have a hearing on Monday, and he's going to be held in Illinois until he's extradited back to Ohio. So they'll have a Franklin, hearing on Monday in Franklin County Municipal Court to see about bond, and of course, he's not going to get a bond. The case will then be reviewed by a grand jury for potential indictment and additional charges. So again, thanks to the Columbus Dispatch for that. Now, USA Today, they have the complaint, so we can go through that real quick. Here it is. They have it obviously sitting in their document cloud in a PDF. Franklin County Municipal Court filed January 10th of 2026. Complainant being duly sworn states the above named defendant at Franklin County, Columbus, Ohio, on or about the 30th day of December 2025 did, knowing, cause the death of another, to wit, Monique Frances Tepe, by means of shooting her with a firearm in violation of 290.02A, unclassified degree, felony. Complainant looks like, okay, that's the Detective Russell Weiner, and sworn and subscribed to me. So this is basically just giving, this is the charges here, and it's to get the arrest warrant. And that is, again, the detective, Russ Weiner. And there's the charge of murder for her. And I'm going to assume the second one is for Spencer. Yeah, this one here is knowingly caused the death of another, to wit, Spencer Louis Tepe, by means of shooting him with a firearm. And again, violation of 290.02A, which is a felony of the unclassified degree, and sworn through the clerk of court, Lori Tyak. And of course, that would be, again, through the Columbus Police Department and Detective Russ Weiner. So that would be the filing that they sent in to get the arrest warrant for Michael McKee. There's a bit of information. This is from Plunder. A lot of you guys are familiar with her channel. Please do check her out. She got a hold of the 55-page court document from the divorce of Monique and Michael McKee. So we're just going to go through the key points here. If you want to read the full document, definitely, again, check her out. She's got that all available. So actually the marriage wasn't 2 years long. It's 7-month marriage, 6-week divorce. So it was very, very short. And I do wonder how long they were dating or, whatnot. I don't think she goes through that in here, but I could be wrong because I kind of skimmed it. Let's see. So people were saying that they had a wonderful wedding and they wished them best wishes, many years of happiness, which of course, that didn't happen. So let's see. And yeah, again, his name is all over social media with misinformation. So be careful if you do decide to search for Michael McKee, which is this guy right here. This lovely, that's his mugshot right there. There is a lot of Michael McKees. And oddly enough, I know a Michael McKee that lives around here that's nothing to do with this. So it is a common name. So hopefully people are very careful with assuming that it's not, it's him, and they need to double check that information. And there's also more than one doctor, it looks like, as well. Let's see here. Again, it was a extremely short marriage. Even though Monique and Michael can be seen in social media photos going back to as far as 2012, their marriage was very brief. So I guess they dated for a decent amount of time. They married on August 22nd, 2015, which we previously stated, and then they separated just 7 months later in March 2016. Their official divorce proceedings began in May of 2017 and were finalized by June of 2017. That is pretty fast. Monique paid for her own rings. In her affidavit of property, Monique listed her engagement and wedding rings as, quote, separate property, unquote, rather than their marital assets. Notably, under the column asking, why do you claim this as a separate property, she explicitly wrote, I paid for both the engagement ring, $2,500, and the wedding ring, $3,500. That's telling, I think. Don't you guys think? That she had to pay for her own rings. That's pretty bad. Monique used a private judge for secrecy and speed. Instead of waiting for a standard court docket, the parties hired a retired private judge. Case referred to Judge Donald A. Cox to oversee the final hearing, which explains why it went so fast. The motion stated this was to conduct a hearing in a more private setting at a more convenient time. This allowed the divorce to be finalized just 6 weeks after the initial complaint was filed. Specific and high interest debt repayment. The separation agreement includes a strangely specific and punitive financial clause. It stipulates that Monique had to pay Michael exactly $1,281.59 for reimbursement of miscellaneous debt. That is strange. The agreement further mandated that if she did not pay by July 1st of 2018, interest would accrue at a rate of 23%. Makes you wonder what that actual debt was. Considering that she paid for her own rings, you gotta wonder. Living arrangements and geography. At the time of the divorce filing, the couple lived in different states. Monique was living in Westerville, Ohio, working for Nationwide, while Michael was living in Roanoke, Virginia, working for Carlin Clinic. Standard mutual restraining order, which was previously mentioned, was issued upon filing. While this is often boilerplate in divorce cases to prevent the selling of assets, it specifically enjoins both parties from, quote, harassing, interfering with, assaulting, or doing bodily harm to the other spouse, unquote. That is interesting. Considering he just murdered her and her husband, that is interesting. Name usage throughout the documents. Monique is referred to as Monique Francis Sabertorsky, not McKee. Guess she didn't like that name anymore. I don't blame her. This suggests she either never legally took his name during their short marriage or had already resumed using her maiden name before the paperwork was filed. And here's some highlights. So, like I said, the documents, a packet from their 2017 divorce case. And she goes through what's exactly in there: a complaint for divorce, waiver of service, income and expense affidavits for both parties, full asset and debt disclosures, real estate, vehicles, banking, and debt breakdowns. So, key interesting details are: one is a real estate tied to the case. Michael McKee discloses ownership of a house on Verona Trail in Roanoke, Virginia. Listing the details: estimated value $219,500. Mortgage balance $215 flat. He hasn't obviously paid that much on it at that point. Disclosed equity $4,500. This is notable because it establishes formal ownership connection to the Verona Trail address as of 2017. The equity is extremely low, suggesting the home was recently purchased or heavily mortgaged at that time. Yeah, like I just said, he didn't have much paid off on it. Multiple vehicles were disclosed. Property affidavits list several vehicles, including a 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee, 2007 Jeep Patriot Cherokee, 2012 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and a 2009 Toyota RAV4. Guess somebody liked Jeeps. This indicates a fairly asset-heavy marital estate for a relatively short marriage. Yeah, 4 cars for 2 people. Income discrepancy between the spouses. Michael McKee, employer listed was Carl Leon Clinic in Columbus, Ohio. He's a MD, a 2020 graduate of Carlin Clinic's General Surgery Residency Program. During his residency, he was also noted for his work at Carleon Roanoke Memorial Hospital. He is currently practicing as a vascular surgeon at the OSF Cardiovascular Institute. Reported base annual income $51,000. Consistent multi-year earnings in a 50K range. As far as Monique, employer listed was Nationwide Columbus, Ohio. Prior yearly incomes listed $32K, $35K, and $41K. Declares estimated $10,300 additional income, overtime, bonuses, or commissions, $50K base yearly income. Debts disclosed. Michael's were mortgage debt tied to the Verona Trail home. Credit card debt, $3,800. No bankruptcies are disclosed. This shows a leveraged financial profile rather than high liquidity. Marriage details from the complainant for divorce. Marriage date, August 22nd, 2015. Divorce filed 2017. Marriage length fewer than 2 years. No children born of the marriage. Grounds: incompatibility. I have a feeling that was more on Monique's part than his, it seems now, with the current situation. The short duration is important because Ohio treats short-term marriages differently in property division and support. It helps contextualize how assets were categorized as marital versus separate. Waiver of service and pro se acknowledgement. Michael McKee signed a waiver of service acknowledging receipt of the divorce filing, acknowledgement of legal representation stating Monique's attorney did not represent him. This indicates the case was likely non-contested or minimally contested. He was not represented by his own attorney at filing. You gotta wonder how this doctor didn't have a lot. I think he just was maybe he was a high spender. Personal identifiers and documentation depth. That packet includes a confidential personal identifier forms, full sworn financial affidavits, notarized signatures, asset schedules required under Ohio Civil Rule 75. Looks like it's a complete domestic relations disclosure packet, not a partial filing. She goes on to say why the document is notable. The filing is legally ties Michael McKee to the Verona Trail Roanoke address, establishes a financial baseline, income, assets, and debts in 2017, shows a short marriage, no kids, no contested posture, documents vehicle ownership and banking relationships, provides sworn statements usable for timeline, asset tracing, or record correlation. Important context: this document does not include police reports, protection orders, criminal allegations, custody issues, abuse claims. It is a strictly civil domestic relations case focused on divorce, property, and financial disclosure. So again, it seems pretty basic, and if you're interested in actually going through the documents, please check out Plunder. Again, she is the one who requested it through a FOIA, and she got a hold of them, and I will link to her channel in the information of the video. So it's good that they finally have the killer. And I don't know how many of you guys thought it was the ex. I'm sure there's a few of you. Obviously, my thinking again was wrong, that it was a disgruntled former worker, patient, or he had some kind of financial situation going on, debts. But I still have questions about why Michael McKee, after all this time, I think I'm hearing rumors. I don't want to report on it until we get more confirmation, but it seems like he may have been stalking, them, and I don't know if he had an obsession for Monique or what was exactly going on, or if he just, he didn't want the divorce and he just did it. There's questions as far as why, 2017 they finalized their divorce, and he does this the end of 2025. After they have 2 kids and they've been married almost 5 years. So I'm very curious what he has to say for himself. Of course, he may not have anything to say for himself in public right away, but we shall know more on Monday. We're going to obviously see if he's going to ask for a public defender, as far as what his financial status is. And yeah, he's a surgeon, he's a doctor, so he should have money for a lawyer, but that doesn't mean he does. And will he contest the extradition? And will he have anything to say for himself, or will he pretty much keep himself quiet until it goes to trial? So I will definitely look forward to seeing what happens on Monday once he makes his first court appearance. But all right, guys, that's all I've got for this one. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and most of all, stay safe.